Yo, what's going on, guys? It's NoahzHD here, back again with another video. It's been a while, and if you're wondering why my screen looks like this, green screen issues, you're gonna have to deal with it for the time being. It's just very scuffed, but it works, sort of. Today we're going to be talking about why the New Orleans Saints are the most underrated team in the NFL. No questions about it. I'm going to be explaining everything, and I kind of want to target this more to the outwards of the NFL fans, not really Saints fans. I want this to get out to fans that aren't really into the New Orleans Saints, that don't know what they're talking about when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. And, you know, you see a lot of media analysts, that don't really know a lot about the roster. Now they know a few players. I mean, we saw Stephen A. Smith yesterday literally misspell Adebo and said Adabo. Yeah, this guy, Paulson Adabo. He doesn't know anything about the Saints roster. They just see what they see on TV and they give their take about it. They don't actually go in depth like Saints fans do. Now, you can't really blame them. There's 32 teams in the league, and maybe they're not a Saints fan, obviously, but we're going to be just educating the uneducated today on the New Orleans Saints. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Now, we're first going to talk about Sean Payton. Sean Payton right now is one of the best offensive minds on the coach. He made up an amazing game plan for the Packers versus the New Orleans Saints game, which was an absolute unit of a game. He had a game plan for Jameis Winston. He was careful with the ball. He didn't have any turnovers, and he just executed it flawlessly. Sean Payton, one of the best coaches in the league, also in developmenting talent, in getting players on the roster. This year is one of the biggest years I've ever seen in New Orleans in evaluating talent I've ever seen, quite honestly. Sean Payton, better than Bill Belichick right now. What happened when Tom Brady left? Nothing. The Patriots have done jack nothing. And so far, Sean Payton, when Drew Brees left, oh boy, it doesn't look like they're skipping a heartbeat right now. In my opinion, now Bill Belichick might have the more rings, but who I think is a better coach, Sean Payton. A little biased, but when we're talking about play calling and everything like that, I've not seen anything that Bill Belichick has done without. And they had Cam Newton, still a good defense last year. Now they have Mac Jones. We're still going to see what Bill can do, but, you know, let's get that out of the way. Sean Payton, that's over. Let's talk about this defense. The most underrated defense in football right now is the New Orleans Saints defense. It baffles me. Everyone's talking about Washington. Everyone's talking about Pittsburgh. Everyone's talking about the Rams. And the Rams you should talk about. Aaron Darnold, a very Jalen Ramsey. They have a very good line. But when you talk about the Saints, no one's talking about it at all. Remember, Jalen Dalton, our defense tackle, is out. Animata's out on suspension. Two very good starting defensive tackles would have had great years. David Animata still might. He's suspended for 6 games. He will be back for the Seahawks game, which, by the way, you're going to see the best of the New Orleans Saints if no injuries happen by Week 7 versus Seattle. Rest in peace if you're a Seahawks fan. Now, let's move on. So, I have the depth chart in front of me. Even though I don't really need the depth chart in front of me, I just don't want to stumble over any names. I'm going to name some people. Might sound familiar to you. Cameron Jordan on the lefty game. Now, Trey Hendrickson outperformed Cameron Jordan last year, but he had an amazing year. Okay, Cameron Jordan, I feel like this is going to be his year that he's going to come out of the shell. Now, Davenport is on injury right now. So we're going to get to see a little bit of Payton Turner. We're going to get to see a little bit of Carl Granderson in rotation. So on that right defensive end side, we're obviously going to see more Cam Jordan on the upcoming games until Marcus Davenport gets back. He's a great, safe defensive end. He's not going to go crazy and rush every play. He's a very safe defensive end. Defensive tackle, we have Christian Ringo, Shai Tuttle at the starting position. For now, Albert Huggins. He had a very good game last week. So Shai Tuttle, Christian Ringo, and Malcolm Roach, I think he was in there as well. I don't know why Shai Tuttle is listed as the starting defensive tackle here. Obviously, Marcus Davenport, Carl Granderson, and Payton Turner. We're going to get into depth in a second. I'm just listing the starters. Quan Alexander, Demario Davis, Caden Ellis, and at cornerback, Bradley. Now, first of all, quickly to get linebacker out of the way, Quan Alexander, Demario Davis, Caden Ellis. Caden Ellis is a stud. No one talks about him. Quan Alexander, amazing player. Okay, and then now let's talk about cornerback. We were in cornerback hell. We had, on our roster, we had like Patrick Robinson, we had Marcus Lattimore, but we had a situation where if someone went down at cornerback, we were screwed. What does the genius that is Mickey Loomis do? Not only did he navigate us out of cap hell, which is apparently to Falcons fans and every fan, we're in cap hell every single year. So what did he do? He restructured contracts, and we get Bradley Roby. If you don't know who Bradley Roby is, he is a ball hawk, and he is exactly going to fit into the Saints offense beautifully. Paulson Adebo, the biggest steal of the NFL draft since I don't even know who. The biggest since Patrick Mahomes. I mean, really, that's a stretch, but that just shows in retrospect how good this guy can be. He locked up Davante Adams on his first ever rookie snap in an NFL game ever. Davante Adams didn't get held back. Maybe there's distractions. Everyone wants to downplay our win against the Packers because the Packers were dysfunctional. Well, have you seen that Davante Adams is healthy? Aaron Rodgers is healthy. They have no real big injury issues. Now, of course, they had injuries to their offensive line, but they did not have any big problems there. Paulson Adebo locked them up. Not only that, but we got Desmond Trufant, an amazing tackler in the secondary. Ken Crawley, an amazing player. Bradley Roby. So this is just going to be an amazing. Now, once again, we'll talk about depth. I'm already listing out Marcus Williams. And then we have Malcolm Jenkins on the defense. Malcolm Jenkins, a great tackler, amazing at guarding tight ends. And Marcus Williams is going to be the best safety in the NFL this year. If he's not, I'll be very shocked. His range on the field is Ed Reed-esque. Now, I'm not comparing him to Ed Reed by any means. He's probably not going to be as good as him, but I am saying that he is amazing at playing the safety position. Might be the best this year. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Special teams, I was very surprised. Blake Gillikin, amazing punter coming out, and he looks great. He had an amazing bomb out there. And then we had Aldrich Rosas, who was a kicker for the Giants previously. He was very good. I expected a miss because he had one in preseason, but he actually made all of them. He looked solid, and I think I have a lot of trust in Rosas going forward. Will he steal Will Lutz's spot? If he keeps it up, maybe. I wouldn't be that surprised. Will Lutz was struggling, if you Saints fans do remember. But I still think Rosas will be benched for Will Lutz when the time comes, when he's off IR. But, Rose is pretty solid so far. It's only week 1. We can't tell anything else. So that's about it for the defense. We'll get into the depth for a second. Let's talk about the offense. So Jameis Winston was the biggest thing with turnovers. Everyone was talking about turnovers. Jameis Winston, crab legs Winston, he's gonna throw 30 picks. Everyone's like, the Saints are gonna have 8 wins because Jameis Winston's gonna turn over the ball. Well, guess what? Week 1, we had the safest game plan you can ever have. We ran the ball effectively. Jameis Winston threw the short passes. In the red zone, he was extremely effective. I think he only had 1 incomplete pass. And Juwan Johnson looked like a stud out there. Jameis Winston, 5 touchdowns. He had under 200 yards, but he had 5 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara looks amazing. Juwan Johnson looks amazing. This offense looks unbeatable. Now, when we talk about our offense, Latavius Murray, he has no juice left. It was actually, a lot of Saints fans didn't like Latavius Murray going. I loved Latavius Murray going. I love Latavius, what he did for us, but I think it was the absolutely correct move. Not only did it free up cap space for other people, but he kind of pulled a Mark Ingram. He didn't have enough gas left. He was eating up cap space. We decided to move on for someone better. Latavius Murray, at that time, was better than Mark Ingram. Then he ran out of juice. Now he's in Baltimore. He got a lucky touchdown last night. Doesn't matter. Now he's in Baltimore, where running backs go to in their retirement homes. But seriously, now we have Tony Jones Jr., who looks amazing. How long until he returns out of gas? We actually don't know because he's young, unlike Latavius Murray. He wasn't that young. He was in his 30s. I'm pretty sure Tony Jones Jr. is in late 20s. I'm really not sure. Don't quote me on that. But Tony Jones Jr. looks amazing behind Alvin Kamara. Now, running back depth, a little iffy. We have Washington. If Jones goes down, we probably need to sign a running back. Anyway, everything looks nice on the offense. And the biggest thing that I preached is we need to get another wide receiver. Our wide receiver depth was very iffy. We had Marquez Callaway, Traquan Smith, and Deontay Harris was going to be our starter. Traquan Smith goes down. What do? We have Chris Hogan. Like, wow, We go out, we get Kenny Stills. There was still a lot of problems, no pun intended. There was still a lot of problems with the separation on the Packers game. So I knew Sean Payton was going to go out and try to get a wide receiver. Marquise Lee would have been just as good. No, not just as good as Kenny Stills. I think Kenny Stills will. There's something about coming back to your home that really is going to reevaluate him. I think he'll come back to his Texans year, not the Saints year, the Texans year. I think he'll come back to that. I think he'll be solid. I expect him to fill the Emmanuel Sanders role very well. And this offense moving forward, when Michael Thomas gets back, oh my God. He looked fine with the team. There's no really drama that I can see right now with Michael Thomas. This team is going to be, Jesus. Last thing I'll talk about is depth. Let's talk about depth. Really quick. We have the best depth in football. Maybe. Have the best depth in football. Not maybe. I think we do. I think that's crazy. If a guy goes down, I can expect that and more from the guy behind him. That is a team that is insane. Almost at every position. If Jameis Winston goes down, Taysom Hill or Ian Book will game manage. They're not going to do anything crazy. They will game manage. They will run the ball a lot if they go down. Do I want Taysom Hill as the starter? Hell no. I really don't. Honestly, give Ian Book. I trust him more than Taysom Hill right now. But you can show. Alvin Kamara, if he had COVID or something, I think Tony Jones Jr. will do fine. I think he'll do fine. Dwayne Washington, Our offensive line is that good. By the way, I didn't mention our offensive line. Best in the league. That's how good our team is. I didn't even mention the best offensive line in football. Left guard, Teron Armstead. Andrews Pete. A lot of people, Saints fans hate him. He's actually pretty decent. Center, Eric McCoy. He's injured right now. We're probably going to get Reader or Ruiz. He's going to be moved to center. Ruiz is amazing. He's playing at left guard right now. And then Ryan Ramczyk, probably the best right guard. Top 5. Maybe the best. Enough said about Ryan Ramczyk. He's amazing. Run blocking, amazing. Our only question right now on offense is tight end. Adam Trutman didn't pan out. And our only 3 tight ends right now are Adam Trutman, Juwan Johnson, and Garrett Griffin. Juwan Johnson reminds me a lot of Jared Cook. He had a lot of blocking issues, but Juwan Johnson looks amazing. So I think Juwan Johnson's going to have a great year. And at fullback, we have one fullback. We have Adam Patience, or Prentice. A guy named Patience, or whatever, dude. I don't have the patience to spell his name. This guy, he's good. I want to check if I'm still recording. Okay, thank God. He looks great. I think he'll be fine. But yeah, our offensive line, it's enough said. And that depth, I mean, even at offensive line, Calvin Throckmorton came in. He looked amazing. Amazing at guard. James Hurst is behind Teron Armstead. He's solid. Jeez. I mean, and then now we have depth at wide receiver. Chris Hogan, Ty Montgomery. I mean, I'm looking at the depth here. And then at linebacker depth. Carl Granderson can come in at linebacker. Zach Bond is crazy, guys. I didn't even mention C.J. Gardner-Johnson, one of the most underrated cornerbacks I've ever seen. Now, if you're not a Saints fan, you probably don't know 90% of these names. You probably know some of them. But you have to realize that these names are elite, that could be elite players that are going to ask for big boy contracts. Okay? This team is insane. The last thing I'll talk about is being fully healthy. We have injuries right now that, like I said, Michael Thomas is injured. Eric McCoy is injured. Lattimore is going to be injured for a game or two. Probably one game. So all these things, like I said, Lattimore, I'm not that bad. We're facing the Panthers next week, right? We're going to have Roby and Adebo. As long as they stay healthy for that game, we're fine. If, let's say one of them goes down, okay? We have Desmond Trufant behind him. Now, we're going to be a little thin at depth at corner because Crawley will not play. So if Roby or one of them go down, we're going to have like P.J. Williams step in. So a little thin at depth right now at corner. If one of them go down, if none of them go down, we're fine. We're fine. Because Lattimore. And Quinn Crawley, when he gets back, will be 100% fine, because Quinn Crawley will step in beautifully. Brian Poole, Quinn Crawley are on IR. We have a little IR problem. We have an IR problem right now. Will Clapp's on IR. Jalen Dalton's on IR. Will Clapp's on IR. Traquan Smith is on IR. They're all coming back. It's a 3-week thing. Will Lutz is on IR. I mean, we have a lot of IR things, but the thing is, we have one of the most deep IR classes, but we're still one of the best teams ever because of the amount of depth that we have. It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous. That's about injuries. If we stay healthy all season, the sky's the limit for the Saints team. Now, last thing I'll end the note on, how far will this team go? I don't know. I don't want to jinx anything. I don't want to say, we're going to go to the Super Bowl, because I'm still optimistic, and it's week freaking 1. Hell, for all I know, we could be frauds, and we could lose 34-3 the next week. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but it could be bad. We could lose the next game easily. But like I said, I've been saying this in Discord all week. The only team that can beat the New Orleans Saints right now, from what I'm looking at on paper, is the New Orleans Saints. Or Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay probably has the similar roster to in terms of elite talent. Or Rams. The only teams I can see beating us right now are Rams or Tampa Bay. In the playoffs. It's Rams or Tampa Bay. The only team that I'm scared of. If we lose to anyone else, it's going to be because of penalties, injuries, or we just have dumb calls. We just pull dumb calls. We just make mistakes. We turn over the ball. We have fumbles. Because turnovers can change an outcome of the game. We could play the Texans. Let's say we have Texans and we have wide receivers dropping balls and then they get picked off, or we have dumb fumbles. And then the Texans are coming back and they win. This is how upsets happen, are turnovers and dumb mistakes and playing down your competition. You could say that's what Green Bay did. I think we're just the better team. I didn't think they played down to us that much. I think they did, but I don't think that I think that week we're the better team. Anyway, the media narrative right now is, before week 1 was, we're going to be a 7-win team, we're going to be an 8-win team, we're going to be borderline decent. 90% of the media analysts didn't even have us going to the playoffs. Yeah, well, that narrative's about dead. It should be soon, hopefully. That's about all I have to say, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share this video to everyone that you know. It was very fun talking about New Orleans. If you want me to make more videos, make sure you share this video, like, and subscribe. Who Dat Nation, let's go. Want to know, baby? Yes, sir. All right, let's go. Peace.